Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Got a crazy story here involving a rental car, and sadly we don't know the name of the rental car company, because if it was Hertz, we'd have gone full circle, because here the rental car company is the victim. But again, we don't know which company it was. So Rick sent me a note and said, Steve, check out the rental car story from the New York Post, which is actually one of the papers I read every morning online, just because I like to see what's happening in New York. So, a Texas woman arrested for trying to sell a car she rented for a cut rate price. She was going to give somebody a great deal on that car. Problem is, she didn't own it. So, a Texas woman was arrested for trying to sell the car that she had rented. And she's arrested over the weekend for trying to sell that car for $10,000. So, she went and rented a car and then apparently decided that she should just sell it, So the police department posted the incident on Facebook, saying an officer was flagged down by a citizen who said he was trying to purchase a car he found online, but he thought it might be stolen. Something seemed fishy about this, so the guy flagged down a police officer. So I guess this just wasn't that woman's day. The car was a 2022 Toyota Camry, and the seller, who police did not identify by name, was attempting to sell the car for about half of its value. Police said the seller agreed to meet with the buyer at a later time to complete the transaction and take a picture of their Texas driver's license and title for the vehicle and handle the paperwork that way. The buyer told police he thought the license looked off, and police said that his hunch was right. Upon running the information from the license, and we're talking about the license plate, it was found that nothing matched up. Officers used the VIN from the fake vehicle title and contacted the owner, who said, yeah, that's a rental and is not for sale. Collaborating with the police, the buyer agreed to meet with the seller, quote-unquote seller, after settling on a price of $10,000. When the two met, police arrested and charged the woman with third-degree auto theft and second-degree tampering, both are felonies. The police department did not immediately respond to questions about the incident. But one thing you'll have to catch in there, and it's kind of very, very brief, but it points out that there was a fake title. And so that's the question that I was going to ask when I saw the headline, was how do you go about selling a vehicle just because it's in your possession? So you have a vehicle in your possession, you go to sell it to somebody, the first thing they should ask for is, may I see the title? And you ask to see the title for a variety of reasons. Number one, to make sure that the person selling it owns it. Number two, to make sure there's no liens on it, because obviously if you buy a vehicle with a lien on it, that lien doesn't go away necessarily. And a variety of other problems that could be there, such as they might have a vehicle with a title that's been skipped, meaning that they might have the title to the vehicle, but it's not their name, it's in the previous owner's name. And that can cause problems also. So apparently, she said, oh, yes, this is my car, and here is the title. And so when the purported buyer looked at these documents and the vehicle itself, something seemed off. And of course, nowadays, it's very, very easy to create documents that look very real. People do it with checks all the time, money orders, and of course, titles. I imagine it can't be that difficult to do these days with a good scanner and a good printer. You can make almost anything look decently close to real, But the guy said, yeah, there's something off about this, not the least of which was the price, because the vehicle appears to have been worth more than $10,000 and substantially more. So I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. What I think happens more often is people will rent the car and go out and do crazy stuff with it, either drive it horribly or commit crimes with it, or both. That is, drive it crazy, commit a crime with it, and then bring it back and drop it off. And I'd be curious to know how many crimes are committed in rental vehicles. That is, where somebody actually goes and rents a vehicle specifically to commit a crime with it, use it as like a getaway car, and then take it back and dump it back at the place they rented it from. But the real thing here, though, is the fact that I believe sale was advertised on the internet. And the question, of course, is where was this advertised? Because there are certain places, I think, that are more reputable than others. And I suspect that something like this probably popped up like, I don't know, Facebook Marketplace or something. And a friend of mine recently sold some stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And she had furniture. It was furniture. And she called me and we were talking about this. And I said, well, just to let you know, if you put anything for sale on Facebook Marketplace, you're going to get bombarded with nonsense. That is people trying to rip you off, waste your time, and just a hellacious number of contacts from people who are going to say things like, oh, I'll buy all of it right now. I'm going to send somebody over with a money order. I said, so you have to understand, and the good news is everything she's selling was just in the few $100 range. I said, you have to tell people, no, if you don't show up here with cash, I'm not even going to negotiate with you. Because people are doing the old, oh, if a friend of mine swings by with a money order for $1,000, can you cash that, give him back the $800 and then give us the $200 piece of furniture that we're buying from you? Because my friend has a $1,000 money order for some odd reason, but not one for $200. You can do that though, right? And my friend, bless her, actually said, Steve, is it going to be that bad? Or is this just the lawyer in you just warning people about stuff that could happen that won't happen? I said, no. We don't even need to continue this discussion. I said, remember that I told you this, and we'll be talking in a day or two, and you can tell me what happened. And she sent me a note shortly after the ad went live for the first time. And she said, yeah, I'm already getting them. And that was people calling up with all kinds of really strange arrangements where it somehow sort of made sense, but it was really, you could see a dressed up scam. And the problem I had with it, as I said, is this furniture at your place? And she said, well, yes and no. And I'm not going to get too heavily into this, but it was actually near her place. So she could actually say, meet me there and I'll sell you the furniture for cash. And she actually managed to sell it all. It took her a few weeks and a lot of nonsense phone calls. And she said she got all kinds of calls and messages and just idiotic stuff. And I said, the good news is most of those people aren't even in America. Many of those scam phone calls are coming from Eastern Europe and Africa and Asia and Antarctica, probably. I doubt that, but I don't know. But here we have a story involving a rental car. Woman rented the car, decided to put it up for sale and see if she could get 10 grand for it. And the buyer thought that seemed a little odd, got the police involved, and yeah, it was a rental car. She had rented it and had decided to sell it. It no longer meets my needs. So from the New York Post, Rick sent it to me. Texas woman arrested for trying to sell a car she rented for a cut rate price. Questions or comments, put them below. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. In the middle of a difficulty lies opportunity.